Okay, welcome guys. We're in Strathnairn Valley, which is really it's a ritual site of early Bronze Age civilization. It's called Clava. These are the Clava Cairns, and they're set up for the midsummer sunset. And lo and behold, midwinter sunset. Lo and behold, we happen to be here for the midwinter sunset, and also happen to have Dougie Scott. Dougie, you've been studying these
30 years
mechanisms for 30 years.
Person.
No, but I mean, you were here before it got popular in many ways. Yeah, and it's nice that it is so popular. There's many people here with us enjoying the sunset as well. So in those days, you used to fly a kite above these to survey them. I remember this.
And helicopters.
Helicopters as well.
I didn't fly the helicopter, just in the helicopter.
Yeah.
Or hanging out the helicopter.
And you've surveyed and found many stone circles up and down this valley as well, eh?
Yeah, well, they're well known. They've been known for hundreds of years. Yeah, they've been visited by lots of people investigating.
Yeah.
But the midwinter orientation, the passage was discovered by the Rear Admiral Boyle Somerville in 1923.
An antiquarian. 1923,
well,
is it as late as that? Now you're getting that, not so much anti, just an aquarian.
But yeah, so it's intriguing. And the thing is that the stone circles actually, although the events can't be seen or couldn't be seen from inside the cairns originally, there is the heaped up big pile of stones, and you had to crawl along the chamber. You couldn't just walk in like you can do today. And all the standing stones point to the rising and setting sun and moon at different times of the year.
Yeah.
Roughly every 45 days for the sun, and for the moon it's every 19 years.
Wow, I would love to talk a bit more about the moon stuff, because there is some particular interest coming up 2 or 3 years.
Yep. Basically, 3 years' time in 2025, as the midwinter sun sets down there, in line with the passage, the full moon will rise in line with the back end of the cairns.
In 3 years?
And in 3 years' time.
Nice.
In fact, from this one, it will rise in line with the northeast cairn. It will pop up over the horizon. And there's false portals built into the northeast cairn that align with this event.
Define false portals.
It's like a false entrance.
Right.
It's just
like a back door.
Like a back door, right? Yeah. That's a back door, but it's a door that couldn't be opened. It's probably a spirit door.
I see that there's a stone line recumbent on that. At the back end. That's just, that's the false portal in the back end of the cairn. Yeah.
And that's where the moon rises in line with.
Yeah.
I've actually photographed stars with the same sky position or declination as the moon at that time. It's called Pollux in the constellation of Gemini, and I photographed that rising, and that shows you can predict when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Might be cloudy, might be, but
it isn't today though. We've got the best day possible for this.
Indeed, we have. It's a cracking day.
For this, the biggest occasion of the year for these stones. Is there other things that happen?
Well, as I said, the sun and the moon rise and set in line with them at different times of year.
Yeah.
Likes of the ring cairn, that's a really good example.
Yeah.
That's over there. So that's actually an egg shape.
Right.
And the long axis of the egg shape aligns to November, February sunset. And in the opposite direction, away up to the northeast, it's where the sun rises in early May, and then also in early August. These dates equate roughly with the Gaelic festivals of Beltane and Lugnasa or Lammas.
And the equinoxes as well.
Well, there's equinoxes, there's lines. One of the rays is one of the causeways that goes round the cairn.
That causeway intrigues me. I've never seen a causeway like that on any of the stone circles I've visited. Do we know why?
Well, the only thing we can say is that these rays or the causeways, they're aligned to the standing stones with the sun. Mainly the sun rises and sets at these different times of the year.
Right. And would you use that for spiritual sense?
They may have been walking across it, walking along it. The ring cairn was probably used for the evidence, the archaeological evidence of charcoal and bone.
Yeah.
cremated bone, probably used for cremating the ancestors, the cremating the dead. And then they would take the remains, the charcoal. They might have had a big party the night before. This is granny or granddad.
I would imagine.
Get up to the whatever,
Yeah.
and or maybe with the sun as it sets at these times.
Yeah.
So they then cover these pots with a skin lid, tie it, and they bring it into these cairns and wait for the midwinter sun. That may well have ended the rituals to the dead.
Yeah.
And it may well be that as the sun set, the spirit of the ancestors, this is their belief, of course.
Well, it's speculation all along.
Went to the other world, the underworld.
You know, that's the fun of these places, though, because we can all make up our own way of thinking that things might have happened.
Up to a point, you can.
Well, you know what inspired them to these things. Was that a truth?
Probably like us, you know, they were building big monuments to say, look at us, you know, you know, the Joneses, and they're all kind of like. But it's they're probably also expressing religious beliefs.
Yeah.
Or religious beliefs, maybe a bit too much beliefs, but you can find the same kind of thing from here to Morocco.
That's right.
And all the way up to Sweden. So it's not as it's a strong belief, and it's not. It's not something which is local.
And shamanistic ancestral worship, would you believe?
Certainly ancestor worship, I think. You know, the ancestors were venerated the same as the sun and the moon would be venerated. Because the sun is the source of life.
Yeah.
And the rock art, although we found that the rock arts and lots of monuments that align with the sun and the moon, we could just think, oh, it's astronomy. But in actual fact, it's a symbol of life. The cut mark itself could be a symbol of life.
Right.
And the making of a cut mark, grinding a cut mark into the rock, could be like lighting a candle, turning a prayer wheel. Yeah. It's the same idea of contacting the ancestors.
There'll be chanting and all sorts of stuff going on as well. Yeah. Maybe out-of-body experience too.
So once we actually know the orientation of the monuments, it's dead easy.
Yeah.
The rest is we can fill in because of what we know from spiritual beliefs that people have had for thousands of years and still have, in fact.
It's propagation, though, isn't it? It's the sun and the moon.
Sun and the moon. There's indications from about 300 years ago.
Father and mother.
Well, it could be. It could be that the moon was. They knew that the moon was moved the tides.
Yeah.
We got that from the Hebrides, the sailors, the fishermen, 300 years ago. Yeah. Martin mentioned it.
Yeah.
A guy named Martin, a strange combination. But he recorded lots of this stuff. A lot of people say this is far too late to have anything to do with these cairns, but I disagree.
Yeah.
Information is passed down, just the same as kids. You learn about trees, you learn about the sky, you learn about grass, you learn about birds. Simple things.
And more so in those days, because that's how there was nothing written down, so it had to be passed.
Had to be passed on.
Orally, yeah.
And most of the things that we learn.
Yeah.
We learn a lot of things from books, but at the same time, we also, you know, people teach us things.
Yeah.
The big brothers, big sisters, father, mother. Long before we go to school, we learn a hell of a lot about the world before we even do it.
Well, we're learning a fair bit about the Clava Cairns. We're here in Inverness-Shire. At the moment, Dougie Scott is with us. Thanks for being with us, Dougie. And we've got the best possible day for the biggest event of the year at these Clava Cairns. They show us. Shall we look at the passage itself from the outside? You'll see us on one of the cameras that is on the inside. Then we'll take the camera out of the inside so it's not to. Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
Do you want that camera out of the way?
No.
You like the juxtaposition of the modern and the old?
It's rare to get it like this.
Oh, this is beautiful.
We've come up here for years and
it's
always been cloudy and.
No, we're getting a treat. So what's next for you? You got a book out about all of this?
Well, I've actually just finished the book on these.
Yeah.
But I haven't got publishers yet because I want to speak about the last publisher I had.
Don't, because I could get sued as well.
I didn't say a thing.
I'm sorry to hear that. So, just how do people keep in touch with you? Maybe ask some questions.
I'm online. I'm on.
You're on that Facebook thing.
Facebook. Yeah.
It is so popular. I'll put a link on this broadcast.
But very rarely people contact. I think they think that this is all kind of, a way above them. It's not. Anybody can learn about this stuff.
No, it's just sitting here. Yeah.
I mean, kids could lay this stuff out.
Yeah.
Tell 2 8-year-olds or 10-year-olds, go out and mark where the sun stops moving at midwinter or midsummer.
Yeah.
Hit 2 sticks in the ground. Easy peasy. Then build a cairn.
Then with the ring cairn, which isn't covered over and there isn't a passage on it, hence the name.
No, they were never covered over.
Is it older or younger than these ones, or can you tell?
They're roughly contemporary. We don't actually know.
Yeah.
We do not actually know. Because the C14 dates that the date the cairns.
Yeah.
They're not that.
They can't pinpoint it.
No. You put plus 50 years or 100 years or whatever.
Now I've read somewhere that they've been used in different ways. And how long were they in operation? How long? Nobody knows.
Richard Bradley reckons they were maybe been used for 50 years.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. The thing is, it was between the circle, the stone circle of the ring cairn, and the actual the ring cairn itself. Bradley found a Pictish burial. So it showed you that the Picts, 1,500 years ago, 1,800 years ago, still regarded these sites as sacred and reverential. Because this would have been a place where their ancestors were buried. And this comes through in the folklore sometimes that they say that the local farmers, about 200 years ago, the local farmers will not plough near the cairns because this is where their ancestors live.
Nice.
And there's all sorts of stuff about Gaelic folklore about the Sidhe living in these cairns.
Uh-huh. The Sidhe spirits.
So the spirits. And this is linked with like some of the banshee, the female, of course, woman fairy is basically. This could be where the fairy folklore comes from. And we're not talking about Peter Pan here. We're talking about the Sidhe were dangerous, and if you pissed them off, they would wreck your crops and kill your cattle. And you had to appease them by giving milk at rock art sites, etc. Yeah. But as I said, the archaeologists, a lot of them think that these themes are far too much later.
But no, they've got echoes. They'll be echoing all the way down. The other curious thing is, well, there's loads of curious things around this, but is there any evidence of them being used before the hunter-gatherers became farmers?
These are farmers.
They're
definitely farmers that built these. Yeah. Because we're into the early Bronze Age. Yeah. They were farmers.
I'm just wondering if this area was used as a place that was significant to the hunter-gatherers as well.
Well, again, it could be that the local field, they may well have been ploughing the fields, but this would have been a sacred area for the dead. Yeah. And maybe only special people could visit. And they maybe visited their ancestors and they left gifts of food and drink as part of the tradition that we know of.
How about homesteads? Was there homesteads around here?
No evidence. Right. The archaeologists have not found any evidence of
so does that
places where they live.
Does
it
that
could be that the stuff has slipped off, the soil has slipped off the slopes and covered any of the houses.
Or does it point to this being dedicated completely as a ritual landscape and a ritual site?
You could perhaps say that, but again, until the evidence comes along, we don't know. New evidence could crop up and change the whole picture. Yeah. The thing is, we have to merge what we know from archaeology and the astronomy. The astronomy is just a tool to understand the orientations. But by merging them together with folklore, I think we got a closer picture to what's going on here.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, they've been observing the movement of the sun and the moon for 40,000 years since the Ice Age, maybe? Yeah. So this is relatively modern in human history, right?
The trouble is, going back 40,000 years, we don't really know too much about that time, but we're getting to know more about the monuments from studying them. Yeah. So it's
wonderful.
And people will continue to do this. And we're going to get new computer simulations that will become even better as time goes by. And you'll be able to visit them. You can visit them.
Visit them online.
You can actually visit them.
Yeah.
which is a better experience, I think.
So we're at Clava. That's the sun just about to sink. I've got a phone call coming in. Tell us about the significant hill, because they're all pretty much aligned on.
Well, basically,
hills,
the hills are where the sun and the moon rise and set, and that's what dictates, you know, the orientations. But they'd have done that by just watching where it happens.
So they place the stones in a way that from the inside, and they couldn't see this, but they
could have seen it initially.
Aye,
they could have seen them initially, but it depends if the view is with the stones put up before at the same time as the curbstones before they fill the cairn in,
yeah,
or afterwards.
Can we wander into the cairn and have a look at that? Well, so we're at Clava Cairns. It is the sunset, the mid-winter sunset, the significant day, and we're just about seeing it now, Dougie, eh?
Yeah, it's near there. The lights on the back stone, the lowest curbstone.
Yeah.
These are right. This is the lowest one, directly opposite the passage, and it rises up. And of course, there's rock art here.
And you were talking about the cup.
There's the cup marks here, and this is directly in line with the passage. So you can imagine people, you know, working at the, you know, touching the rock art as the light streams down the chamber.
Yeah.
And these could have been used for contacting the ancestors.
That's the control panel. There's an interesting thing going on here that another archaeologist who was here when I was here told me about. This stone, I don't know if you even know this, but it's got cut marks all the way back.
Quite a few of them got cut marks. There's cut marks up there. There's cut marks in there.
Is that just for the back of the monument, or are they all round?
The cut marks tend to be on the other cairns, and these cairns, like we showed you there.
Yeah.
Tend to be placed in areas with line with the sun and the moon. For example, there's cut marks in the outer edge of the cairn,
right,
in line with the equinox sunrise.
Right.
This has all been videoed and photographed. But if you look here, if you step back here and you look, you see that this section is built in 3 daft columns.
Yeah.
And it's so unstable.
Yeah.
But they would have known not to do that. But for some reason, they did. And of course, when the passage was covered here with lintels, we had to crawl along.
Yeah.
The light would have been low. It wouldn't have been on the top wall that you can see just now.
Yeah.
So we don't know. It could be that these were like votive. You know, the making of the cut mark. This is our contribution. We've dragged this thing.
Yeah.
We've done the rituals to whatever.
There's quite a lot of that,
and
isn't
then
there?
We're building, and this is our contribution. You know,
like in Brugga up in Orkney, which is significant to all these places they're starting to find out. The stones were gathered from different parts of the island.
That's it. Yep. And at the same time, as this every 18 to 19 years, as the sun sets in line with the passage, the moon will rise opposite. And
that would give us all. Yeah, we'll let people in. I'll take this camera out of the way so they're free of the modern technology. You're with me and Dougie Scott at the Clava Cairns, and I would say a good gathering of folks, maybe 50 or so folks, here for the summer sunset. Come on in, guys. I'm sorry to hog it.
No.
And from the centre of the cairn, this being the main stone, it's probably been moved to make way for the road. That aligns directly with this hill and
these two standing stones here from the centre. Again, everyone's from the centre, even though they could never be seen once the damn thing was built. But they align where the moon rises up there every 19 years. The southern moon, the midsummer sun would be up there.
Yeah.
You got a full moon rising, and it just lies skim across the top of the horizon.
And what time of the year is that?
It's around about midsummer.
Midsummer, but you were just saying that the midsummer. I'm confused. I get confused by astronomical things badly.
It's okay.
So the midwinter, every 19 years, is it the same event?
every 19 years the moon will rise and skim across the horizon
All right.
in line with these stones.
And when is the significant moon event at that end?
At midwinter.
Midwinter.
It's the opposite moon.
Right.
Full moon.
Thank you.
It'll pop up above the northeast cairn.
Nice.
So the length, and the same thing happens at some of the cairns further down the Strath.
Yeah.
At Kildoich. And in fact, if you go to Kildoich, there's the sun setting down the same line tonight.
Marvellous.
So it's common. You get it in cairns, and you get it in cairns all the way down to all over the country. In fact.
Yeah. So this is it. We're going to see the sunset at Clava Cairns. Shall we wander down through the stones? You can give us a talk and a walkabout. Thanks for joining us, guys. It's difficult for me to see the chat frame, but afterwards, if you've got any questions, leave them in the chat frame, and Dougie and I will get back to you and answer any questions that you may have about these structures. Tell us about the kerbs. They're all built up on kerbs, eh? Is that just for dramatic value, do you think?
Well, they reckon that Richard Brother reckons that these mounds that surround the stones were there partly to stop the weight of the cairn pushing the kerbstones over.
Oh, okay.
And he reckons this happened about 50 years afterward the cairns were built. So in actual fact, the kerbstones were up to about a metre height.
Uh-huh.
And
so they're just supporting the kerbs. That makes sense.
It might be, we don't know. It's the same with the causeways.
Yeah.
We don't actually know. You could imagine that people were walking along these causeways.
Yeah.
And making some kind of votive offerings, maybe to the standing stones.
Yeah.
So we should look at the stones as perhaps, and the same as the cairns. What's the same way as we maybe commemorate a monument to some famous person?
Yeah.
The idea of the stone and the spirit becomes one.
Yeah.
And people may have been walking along the causeway at these times as the sun rises in line with
veneration with the individual.
To give them a whiskey or some food, or, all that kind of stuff.
Why not? Yeah, why not?
It's to appease the ancestors.
And you know what? They're always built in magnificent places. I mean, I know there's difficult not to build in a magnificent place in the Highlands of Scotland, but they're always they always seem to be built with a sense of the dramatic in the landscape. Is that yours? Yeah. Would you agree with that?
Well, I'm sure they responded to nature, but they'd have seen it slightly different. They were appeasing nature in a sense. Whether you call it control, I don't know, but
trying to control.
But again, because
their life and death depended on.
Well, it's very much so. The thing is, in Gaelic or in Irish, these things are seen as bruins. They're called. Basically, it means womb. So the sunlight shining into the womb of the earth could be to be with fertilization. Nothing to do with astronomy at all.
No. And this time of year, when everything's dead, you are looking to fertilize things for the spring, aren't you?
Especially there's the stories about the fertility goddesses coming out of these cairns in the spring. Yeah. And this all could be linked to that kind of mindset.
Wonderful. So a fair few folks have showed up for the sunset, and it is going to be fabulous. Shall we watch it from the other cairn?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell what you were about to say.
I was just going to say that the thing is, the likes of the shape of these cairns wouldn't be known. It'd be totally unknown. I mean, this cairn here, the ring cairn, it's called the ring cairn. Actually, it's an egg shape.
Yeah.
But it doesn't conform to Alexander Thom's egg shapes. It doesn't conform to their shapes.
Who's Alexander Thom?
Alexander Thom was one of the pioneer archaeoastronomers from the 1930s onwards. He surveyed everywhere.
Yeah.
But he thought that these monuments were very accurately aligned to measure tiny movements of the sun and moon. But in actual fact, work has been done since that shows that it doesn't work. There's no notches as such. And the thing is, where he thought were the moon setting notches at night, in actual fact, the moon set during the daytime. But
So-
at the same time, he's a pioneer, and in fact inspired a lot of people. Inspired me.
Aye.
So,
So there's a cairn on the inside as well as the outside.
well, this is a big fireplace, basically.
Yeah.
And in there was filled with, found to be filled with burnt bone and charcoal.
Yeah.
So the conclusion is that this is where huge bonfires were lit as the sun and moon rose and set in line with the monuments.
Now, I read somewhere that somebody reckons that there were bone burials for a while, and then they were all dug out, and
No,
and that all
it's
changed.
yeah, it's difficult to kind of work that kind of sequence out. I find it difficult. Well,
Yeah.
it doesn't concern me as such, but because I'm only focused on the so-called astronomy.
Yeah,
you know,
how it all
which,
works.
as I said,
Yeah.
is but that's the
And
table.
which is the equinox stone here?
This one here.
Is it? That's the one that Clair falls through in Outlander, isn't it?
I've got no idea.
Oh, come
I've
on,
got
Dougie,
nothing.
you must have studied this.
I've never read it. This is a November sunrise.
Yeah.
And the thing is that this cairn,
Yeah.
as the sun rises in line with these stones every 45 days, they also set with the other
It does
stones
say it's
the same
on the
day.
perpendicular. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I came up round at that before, and this one's quite a. Hi, good to see you, man.
Yeah,
This is quite a stone, eh? I mean, this is something that's been selected.
Well, there's a cut mark here.
There's,
I reckon that's a cut mark.
yeah, and there's
And
a
there's
lovely one on the other side, and that's a jewel, eh? It's full
That's
of
it.
quartz. Yeah,
Yep.
there's a cut mark.
You sometimes cut the cut marks into quartz.
Uh-huh. All right, so you've noticed that as a
Oh,
pattern.
it's well known.
Aye.
It's well known, and quartz has this property that if you strike it, you can get sparks, little sparks. You do it in the dark. You rub 2 bits of quartz together, and you
course you
see a
can.
glow.
Yeah.
This strange glow. Kids love it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So again, this could be contacting the ancestor.
Yeah.
Or it could be filled by ancestors
Yeah.
in their belief system. But this one here is the equinox sunrise one.
Or the sunrise one.
Aye.
Ah. Sunset and equinox would be that one, would it?
No, that's November sunrise.
November sunrise.
See, all this side, east side is rise,
Right.
the west side is set.
Okay. Of course.
This one.
Yeah.
It's the equinox sunset.
Yeah.
Sorry, equinox sunrise. You got me now.
I know.
And
That's right.
if you walk along the causeway,
Let's walk along the causeway.
there's cut marks on this stone.
Oh, look at this.
And basically, as the equinox sun rises, the trees aren't in the way.
Carry on with you.
Look who's a,
We're doing ourselves a wee talk here, yeah.
it's
all right.
It's the sun. But this is how it should be.
Yeah.
We should really interact with people.
It is the way.
Instead of being all stuffy and.
Aye.
But as the sun rises, the shadow of that stone touches these cut marks.
That's the way to do it, eh?
So it's linked again.
Yeah.
And it's, as I said, as the sun rises in line with this stone here at the equinoxes, it then sets in line with the stump of another standing stone.
Oh, yeah.
This has all been photographed and
Yeah.
videoed.
Yeah. Very
So-
cool. Very cool. So the sun is just about to set, I would say.
Yep. I'll be off the line of the passage now. So.
Yeah, tell us about that alignment, why that's happening.
Well, that's because the Earth has shifted its polar axis, you know,
Aye.
as it spins, and it shifts. It does this slight.
There's a
shifting
wobble.
over
The Earth wobbles, doesn't it?
27,000 years, I think it is.
Aye.
Yeah, 27. So it means the stars all shift.
Yeah.
But the sun and moon, because they're closer,
Yeah.
only move a little bit, and we can measure it,
Aye.
and we can make allowances for that.
Yeah.
And the thing is that the entrance to the passage are wide enough.
Yeah.
We know, we understand.
Yeah, but actually, if we were stood in the passage just now, we were a bit earlier on. If you want to scroll back to have a look at that, you will see that it's slightly off centre, isn't it? You
Yeah.
can actually see the movement of
Yeah, you can walk back if you want,
the 5,000 years.
because the light's gone there completely. I think.
Okay, let's go and take a walk back.
just realised everything was blithering. You see the missed the sunset.
Missed it. Yeah, we are as well. Anyway, that's the fascination of Clava Cairns. They are situated 8 miles to the east of Inverness, the A9. You can skip off the A9 at any time and come and sit with the ancestors.
Up the Clauden Moor.
It's
road.
just on the Culloden Moor Road or on the Dava Road if you're coming the back road, which is lovely to do anyway. And there's another 2 stones, what, about 2 miles up the road?
Yeah.
Two
Further up
cairns that you can have a
towards
look
the
at.
sun. And they also align with the sunset.
Yeah.
The midwinter sun.
Which
the thing is, in Gaelic tradition, you always go around these things judicial, clockwise,
do you?
with the sun.
Thank you.
Because
Because I know, because and the banshees will be at me.
I've been nibbling at you.
Got to be careful of that stuff. I'm not scoffing.
You know, I go with banshees.
I've done it before in the past.
I've never done that.
No, but you're informed, see. You're better
No,
informed
I can
than
assure you. I can assure you.
So here we are at the
I am
passage.
not informed in that way.
There's the.
Look at the.
Let's please. Oh, we're getting some music as well. That's perfect. Oh, I'm sorry. Steve, don't mind it.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Beautiful, yes, thanks.
Such a trance, brother. Eh?
It was lovely making it with the guy because he's steeped in the tradition. So he explained that these things are not musical instruments as such; they're the voice.
Yeah.
You cannot go wrong because they're on a pentatonic scale. So
Yeah.
every note. So it just allows you to express what.
These are tuned to the pentatonic scale as well as resonators. I had a musician who actually tuned his guitar down to this when we were up here. And they're all tuned that way. And they're tuned to the low bass baritone as well. They put a silly.
I mean, I am musical, but you don't have to be. You just play whatever it needs to be played. So the whole tradition of these was that somebody went out into the bush and it was on the
kind of
to
was
their
a bit-
people, really.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
So they played what they needed
It was
to
nice.
vocalise.
And
then,
Thank you very much.
Cheers. So that's us, guys. Couldn't be better, as if it was arranged. Couldn't be better. Thank you very much, Dougie, for joining us here. And yeah, me too. Getting the cue. All right, thanks. We're out of here, guys. He's in front of us. Thanks a lot. We're out of here.